Hello everybody and welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tina. It's a beautiful day to be creating with you. I get to work with our new Let's Party collection. So if you haven't seen anything about our new product that dropped on January, so just this month, about a week ago, I'll put all the links and the details to everything down in the comments so you can go check out the entire collection. But I'm working with this awesome birthday themed but celebration theme collection because I'm not doing all birthday. I think you instinctively go to birthday, and I am doing birthday with my first one, but I'm going to be changing it up. I'm even going to be doing a birthday card and a birthday favor and some other fun stuff with it. But I'll be working with the scrapbook collection. Scrapbook workshop. I love the scrapbook workshop. It is where I go for everything. I'm a scrapbooker first. I want all the die cuts, all those exclusive papers, the little extras, like we got these fun acrylic shapes this time, and I really like that. But what I like to do is mix it up. So I will be doing this layout here with my own remix, and then I'll be making some other things with or other projects and pages with this other stuff. So that's what I like to do. I like to do my own thing, but I like all the things. Okay, so here it is. These are pictures of my birthday from a couple years ago. And yeah, they jump right out at you. All right, so what I have here is a couple things I'm going to be adding, and I'm going to go over that for you now since this is video 1, and I know a lot of you are going to follow along in the series. I have an 12 by 8 protector flip flap, 12 by 8 flip flap. We're going to need that. This one is really important to note. So this is the frame that comes off of this when you punch this out on the die cuts. And this was a really interesting one because I couldn't find this because it just looked white when it was in there on the first one. But all of these that you punch out, it's so well designed. They're the actual circles that we're going to incorporate on the next page and on another layout. So that was great. But I want you to save this. We're going to use this to make it look like we used a whole page behind it because it's perfectly gutted for us. Then a couple of other things that I have. I went ahead and gathered everything. We're only going to be doing this page right here for this first one because I have additions to make to it. So we're going to have that. I grabbed this, was the extra suggested product, and I love to incorporate all kinds of things. So this is the new Aquarius. I'll put the information down there. And I also have some extra bling from my stash. This is the yellow, and I have that Sundance that matches this, and that's in there as well. And my rule for 2024, I'm trying to incorporate things from my stash into my scrapbooking. So I grabbed these UV coated paper compliments that we had last year. And I plan on just moving, I got every color. I plan on just moving these, but I'm trying to use one thing from my stash, just one thing from my stash with every project I do. That's my goal for 2024 as far as for my products. Okay, let's dive in. The first thing I want to do is I think this is going to be a little difficult to store. So I just have a piece of white daisy here, and I've cut that down to 11.5 by 11.5. Now, this is a really thin gut because, you know, it's only a 1/2 inch around. So I am definitely going to have to do the back. But the reason why I'm doing this now, even though I'm not using it, is because I think this is kind of fragile and it's more likely to rip. And I know that this is my project plans for my next sketch. So I'm just going to get about 1/4 inch all the way around, put that down. Hopefully I didn't rub too hard because I know my adhesive is never where it's supposed to be when I do my guts. I'm not a fan of gutting. I do it though for the paper save, you know, but I don't enjoy gutting. All right, so I have enough here to stick, and then what I do with mine is I just grab my washi tape. All right, so I have washi tape. All my washi tape is D-Stash washi tape because I don't really use it for anything except maybe to put on the back of my envelopes. I'm covering up the adhesive that I have just like this. All right, and then I'm securing it. And I'm going to just put this off to the side. But that's how I do mine. I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea, and then I'll store this away for that next layout, and it'll be a lot safer as I slide it in and out of my tray. All right, now let's go ahead and focus on this fun project. All right, this was part of your die cuts. I just went ahead and took that off. And then we'll go to our back page here as we focus on this one. Here are some of those circles that I mentioned, but I'll be reworking this whole layout on this side. Okay, I did a couple of changes. I gutted that paper. I did a 1-inch gut. There's, I believe, a video right here on my YouTube if you want to see that, how to gut. But basically, you're just going to line it up on your cutter, gut your paper. Now, underneath, I have a piece of white daisy, 12 by 12 white daisy. Because of the project that I'm doing and how I'm doing it, I need the stability on this page, but I also need to see the other side of the page. I want to use the other side of this white daisy on my flip flap. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive around the edges of this. And I am going to try, normally I trim this a little, but I'm going to try to line this up as perfectly as I can with this guy here. Let it balance on my arm a little bit just so that I have less of a chance of it hitting 10 tons of adhesive. Probably going to get a wonderful shot of the back of my head. All right, I'm just kind of laying it down. I'm not going to rub it. I'm going to, once I get a corner, I'm going to just lightly touch that corner just like that. And then I want it to kind of fall across nice and flat. I'm just trying to get as close as I can to perfect. And then if I have to do a little trim, I will. There we go. Just kind of flatten it, go from one corner out and down. And I think that looks pretty good. Now I'll be able to use this. I know right now, you guys might be wondering what for. All shall be revealed. Now, for gutting this paper, that was not part of the instructions. I wanted to get the extra paper to use. So I did gut this sheet. And then what I did is I gutted the second. There are 2 of these pages in your kit. I have already gutted both of those to cover with that. You don't need to put the second one on the white daisy. Just go ahead and gut it, and we'll do that in the next video. Okay. This has such a fun story with it. This is my birthday, and George was taking pictures of me, and he's been taking a lot more pictures of me lately because I had told the story of how I have all pictures of everybody else, but I don't really have pictures of myself. So he's been taking pictures of me everywhere we go, and I'll share a fun story about these pictures. You can see here the pictures go kind of like an X. And then these get decorated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just flip these over. And I have my instructions just off to the side. But I'm going to take these 4 3x3s that are in the cut guide. Now, I'll put a link in the comments as well. But these workshop cut guides are free on my website. So even if you're looking to remix pages or do anything, I love our workshop guides. I highly suggest you go over and pop out. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Okay, so I'm doing basically the middles at this point, and I'm just adding a little bit of this adhesive, and I'm going to put all these down and cover those up. I'm going to try to not have them all over the place so that the squares, that grid kind of looks a little straight, if you will. I think my Versamat could be my friend in this case. Okay. All right. So for these pictures, my struggle has always been that with my kids, I'm really close to the edge. It looks good. My struggle in taking their pictures is they know I'm a scrapbooker. So they would find it super funny to make funny faces the whole time I was trying to get a picture. They would always like stick their tongue out at the last minute or turn around or whip their hair or put, do little ears behind each other or whatever. It was super funny. So I got a little bit of payback as George wanted to take my picture. And I thought it was hysterical. As you can tell, I was cracking up. I made faces. So I was like making faces while he was taking these pictures and I was laughing and it was really difficult. I did give him one. He actually I was like, okay, I won't smile. I won't smile. I won't laugh. And he was like, no, that's the same thing. And so we had so much fun. And then we both made a funny face for a selfie. So these are the pictures that I want to have on this other one. Now I only have 5 pictures. And what I think I'm going to do is stick with these just because I feel, or these, I feel like it's proportioned. These three are about the same distance back, and then we're a little close up here and here. So I think it's a better balance. And I'll use this on my other page, the actual good one. Okay, so I have those down. And now I am going to flip them over, and my grids look pretty good. Okay, for these pictures, I really don't need to use my cutter. I don't need them to be perfect. They are going behind here, and I just cut these off with my selfie. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice them. And it's funny looking at these pictures because my house looks nothing like this. My entire house has been repainted. So there's some fun with that as well, that, you know, looking back. All right, here you go. And when you hear the rest of the story, this was such a great birthday for me. So many good things. I'll be incorporating a couple of different celebration times. This is from our stamp of the month this month. And I have that right next to my area. And I'm not doing the journaling on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put those aside. But I will be using this awesome little notebook. I'm definitely using that. I'm probably going to be using that a ton. Okay, so I'm going to just do one of these at a time. This is how I would be comfortable with it and the easiest. I don't want to deal with 10 tons of adhesive. So I'll show you how I'm going to do one. And then what I'll do is I'll save time on the video, and I'll go ahead and I'll put the rest of mine on. All right, so I am going to want me and George in the bottom corner because that happened after. I think I'm going to want this one up first, and I'll take, I think, this one for the center because George thinks that one's the absolute best. And I think I'll go that way. Okay, so what I'll do is I have the top corner here. I'll just grab this, and I have a little bit of adhesive. I just like to hover and then put it down. And I'll trim off all of this when I'm done. But when I trim it off, let's make sure, yep, that's in. When I trim it off, I don't worry about doing it perfectly. I'll just literally lift my picture a little and just trim them like that. And then what I do is for these as well as these, I will take some washi tape. It's just a preference, and kind of secure my pictures down in case I didn't get a ton of adhesive. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop off camera and put all of that together, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and you can see I have all my pictures and those backgrounds done, and this looks so crazy. I love it. All right, so now what we're going to do is, as I mentioned, I am gonna, like, I had multiple kind of celebrations that I had that I wanted to incorporate into this layout, but I really just want to keep it with one. So we're going to make it interactive and add some extra room. You can see here, I have that washi tape that I always like to put on. It helps me cover my adhesive too, in the event that, you know, sometimes I set up my scrapbooking, but I don't finish it. I kind of do my scrapbooking in stages sometimes, or I'm attaching it to other things, and that adhesive really can, you know, stick. It's adhesive, right? Okay. We're now going to leave a 1/2 inch all the way around. And now you can see we're covering that gut paper up, which we wouldn't have had to worry about, but I'm using the other side. Okay, so now that I have that down, I'm not going to decorate it yet, or embellish it, or bling it, or jazz it, or any of those wonderful things that we want to say. I'm going to grab this. Oh, I hope I'm within where I want to be. And we're going to flip this around, and I'm going to line this up at the 4-inch mark and see if I'm in. And I am just in. Okay, I'm going through multiple layers here. So sometimes what I find helps is sliding my blade up and dropping it where I want to be. Now I'm 4 inches from that bottom, and then I'll kind of work my way across. I have a lot of layers here. If it gets stuck, I stop, I go the other way. I just kind of come back. I go nice and slow because you don't want to like jam your paper and then create that. Okay. When I feel like I think I'm through, I'll go ahead and check it. I can run that again. It's actually the white daisy on the back. I'm going to get right back in that groove, maybe. All right. I do not want 2 cuts. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my awesome scissors and just slide it up because, see, it's just that final but I'm going to see that. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just go nice and slowly. And get that off. There we go. I'm going to see the top more than the bottom of this portion right here. This is being done by a person who cannot cut straight to save her life. Okay, so now that I have a little bit through, I'm going to line it back up. And there you go. Now I'm in. A little more pressure, see if I can get through that final. Because we're going through the pictures, the paper, the white daisy. Okay, so I'll just trim this off and make this flush and pretty. There we go. And then I'll do the same to the other piece right here. Oh, I didn't need much on that piece. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now I have 4 inches at the bottom and I have 8 inches at the top, and we are all set to go. I'm going to bring in that flip flap and a piece of the exclusive paper. So this paper is only available in the scrapbook workshop. It's, as I said, it's one of those reasons I just keep coming back and grabbing the scrapbook workshop. I want all the things, and it gives me all the things. Okay, for the inside of this, I'm going to be doing in another video, but I just want to show you how it's going to work. We're going to put this in here, just like this when we're done, okay? And then this is going to get attached to the top. So I can put that aside for right now. Not for long, because we are going to add all the pretty things. All right, this is the bottom 4 inches. And we are going to put that perfectly across this. Look at this paper. It's got a woven texture to it. So, of course, I love textured paper. Textured paper is a big fave of mine. All right, we want to make sure we get that nice and flush right across the bottom. There we go. You kind of see where I'm going. Now, we're not going to attach the top, but what will happen is when this flips open, this will stay across the bottom. And then this will all be decorated, as well as I have this white daisy now at the top. I can use the other side. We'll just have to make sure we flip correctly. That's the ticket. But I'll be able to do this how I want to do it with those extra papers that I saved to bring in, as well as I'll be using some stickers and some other photos. But we'll save that for the next video. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to just line this back up just for, you know, bling purposes. We're going to grab our picture. You got to love that. I did a little prep for this. And as I mentioned, I have those UV complements and such that I have. But let's go ahead and start adding all the things. Okay, so I am going to want these on foam tape. And I'll mention foam tape anytime. I'm just using some of my foam tape from my Slimline cards. That's my favorite foam tape to buy. All right. I've chosen to have some with dimensions, some without, so I have good balance. But because of that, seeing that foam tape that I'm going to put on there, we have some acrylic shapes we're bringing in. It's real important that you line this up on your cutter and you do that slice first, because if not, you're going to have problems getting through it. Now, I know someone's going to comment that they are a brilliant whiz with an X-Acto knife. Envious over here. I am not. All right, this is that red heart. And then we have 2 hearts. I just did regular adhesive. We have 2 hearts going on the other side. We have this Sundance. And I'm literally just looking at the pictures. That's it. So we're going to put that one there. I'm going to add, I have foam tape on the back of the black polka dot. These are all die cuts. So they're all exclusive to the kit. Die cut. I have these backwards, and I really liked the way it was. Do I think switching the hat and the present is a big deal? No. All right, a little turn, just like that. There we go. The present. I'm following the picture. Look how easy they've made this for me, right? All right. We've got that present there. Oh, I did want to mention, what I did was I took an old marker that I have. I have these old markers. This is a great way to use your markers if you spent money on them, but maybe you've you've switched to the best ever markers, in my opinion. I use the broad tip to, instead of ink, I trace, and then sometimes if I want it to look a little messy, if you will, you know, not so perfect, I will go back and just let my marker rest there for a minute, and then see it absorbs the ink in, and then you kind of get those little bumpy things or whatever. And I like that sometimes. It doesn't want to stay. There we go. Just for a different look. And I just, you know, pull those out of my stash. Okay, so here are the die cuts, and that was it. So then we're going to move over to some of the additional pieces that we have before we bling all this out. Okay, so we have some banner pieces. I'm going to fold this, but really it's just to kind of keep it in the frame so you guys can see how I'm following along. Normally I would just have it, you know, off to my left. You can see I've pulled a couple of these, as I mentioned, to use some of these up, and I'm going to bring those in as well. But let's go ahead and add some other things. Acrylic shape. I will not journal directly on the heart the way they show it in the guide here. I will, I know that I won't. I'm going to plan on using 1/4 of an inch strips. I've already cut them. Some little white daisy 1/4 of an inch strips for just a couple of words on here, because my journaling is going to go on the other page. All right, I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive. Glue dots are also great. I want to put this on first so it has a little bit of time to dry. Can't go wrong. And then part of that is this one here, which would require surgery from me. There is maybe a little pokey hole in the center here. Maybe not. I can kind of see it, but I don't know if it is cut through or it's just a detail. That's not going to be a break for me. I think it's just a little bit here. Whatever kind of adhesive you like. You probably could have just done a glue dot on that little part that sticks out as well. And I'm going to add that. These acrylic shapes are so nice. They are a thin acrylic, so they're not really any thicker than your foam tape. And so it's a nice, you know, uniform. All right, I don't know what of these go where. I'm sure that if I looked at the picture, I could match them all up, but that sounds really time consuming for me. So I'm just going to try not to get too where it goes. And you can see they're all spread out here, but there's only one over here, and we're not going to let that affect my OCD at all. Okay. So I'm just going to start putting these on. I did notice when I just picked it up that that one there was kind of the multicolored confetti. So I'm just kind of looking. Looks like we have like 2 yellow, 2 of the, you know, 2 of the Sundance, 2 or whatever. I'm flipping them over so I can see them. And like lots of the confetti. So I would say if you're looking to not repeat, the confetti, or the, sorry, they're all confetti. The rainbow confetti would be your best chance of that. There we go. And I just put, I used my anti-static pouch, and then I just put a little piece of foam tape on each one of these. And you'll have an extra one. I'm not sure what the extra one is for, but I was tempted to like try to figure out how to get the extra one in, but then I decided my time could be better spent if I let that one go. All right, and up at the top here as well. They make it really easy. These are all off of the sticker sheet, anti-static pouch. And then the bling. I'm going to add the star right here. That is from the acrylic shapes, and I turned it and turned it and turned it. I don't believe this is like, you know, a symmetrical star. So if you're, you know, one of those people, just to let you know, just put it on there. You'll be all right. All right, the Make-A-Wish, I lined it up with 1 piece of foam tape to the far right. because it's going half on this polka dotted heart to the left and, or to the right, excuse me, this polka dotted heart. My glue is not cooperating. There we go. Nor were my thumbs. All right, there we go. I'm just adding a little adhesive because I want it to stay flat. Sticker sheet, Make-A-Wish. And then I'll have a little bit of adhesive here. I want to make sure when I put this on though that you can see the bottom of the heart. You don't want to lose that it's a heart. And how you do that is by keeping the full shape. So you want to keep a little bit of the bottom of that heart when you put that on. That's just a little tip. Okay, we're going to be putting in lots of stickers, but as I look at them, I'm not always sure what's what. I pulled this little white star from the acrylic just so I could have some acrylic here and then maybe some acrylic over here. And of course, don't put anything over the line, all right, because we'll be removing that. So as you're adding the little extra things that you're going to put on from wherever you get them, because you know we have a stash, just go ahead and do that. I'm going to add a star right here instead. I'm replacing it. It's just like I said, so I have a little bit more balance with my acrylics. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring some things in, and I have something that's personal to the layout. There are lots of stickers on this. All these can be found on this sticker sheet, and you're going to see me grab some of those in just a minute. Look at all of them. There are tons of these little extra pieces to add such detail. I really love them. But for me, what I'm going to do is, since I have a story to tell here with the little camera, and this is from the UV compliments that we got, and I have this, I'm going to want to add a couple of UV in. So what I also have here is some of the stars, and I just separated those, and I separated some for the candy apple, and then I separated some with the Sundance, so I could add a couple of extras. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and work on where I want my click first and my little camera, because they are the biggest. And I'm thinking I'm going to like them right there. And I did want to try a change out just in case. They're both red. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Sundance camera. This heart here is Sundance. So I don't, you know, the click I can go in red, and then this. I love these. I actually still have some of these available. But what I really like is I keep them in these separate bags. So by keeping them in the separate bags, when I read my color palette off of the zip strip that comes at the top of our papers, I know exactly what to put where. Oh, I like that so much better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these all set up and put down. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Normally I use my tweezers to hold it if I'm doing, I like to put my glue down and then put it down. I'll do that on my smaller ones. You'll see that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to go with the click right there. These aren't that small. And that is meant to release, so it's definitely doing its job. Perfect. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a couple of the UV stars next. And I'm just going to be going back and forth between my Sundance and my candy apple. My goal is to use as many things as I can from my stash as I am on my scrapbooking journey this year. So I am really looking forward to shopping my stash and incorporating that, because I think the perfect balance really is something old and something new for me. So I love it all. Okay, now one of the things that I'm going to have is the balloons from the Bluebird, the candy apple, and the Sundance that I will very easily add to this, you know, as I go. All right, taking all this away. And let's grab our stickers. And now really they're just spread throughout. There's little hearts and stars. So I want to put those down next. All right. These are so small and so wonderful. It's what really adds all the detail. I went ahead and grabbed one of those jade green because I hadn't really put very much green on this, so I want to make sure I hit a couple of the green. Made a nice little cluster there with that. That turned out really good. And I'm just alternating between some hearts and some stars. Now, even though this is on the bluebird, I'm going to want to add a couple of bluebird. It just does a little something for me to see them. I think the bling is also great. And I'm just going to add some hearts. And I'm not even looking at the guide at this point. I'm just adding what I like. I have a big spot right here. So I'll add one of the larger stars right there. And then follow it up with a little heart. Want to see. Follow it up with a small star. There we go. And then a little heart. No, I actually like just the two of them right there. I feel like I'm looking pretty good. Okay, I don't want to add just to add. Editing is always best. I did notice that there is a little star right over here. All right, I think I'm going to add it in the blue. It looks like it might be a white one, but I'm going to go ahead and add it in the blue. You know, I've never tried our pickup tool with acrylic, and I don't know why. I always do it with... Oh, it does work. Okay, awesome. Oh, I love it. Okay, there we go. I'm loving everything about this page, which is good. Okay, so the Aquarius Stickles Gels. I have a cleaning rag standing by. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I wanted to add this last so you could see my page done. Now, this will have to dry so that I can actually finish it and move it on. But I want to share with you when I want to put a tiny bit of stickles on, how I put the smaller amount of stickles, of the gels, okay? I believe that your best tools are your fingers, but I will use the palette knife to stir them up. But when I want to put them on real specific, the only thing I trust are my own fingers. So I'm just going to grab a little with my ring finger here. And that's too thick. You don't want to put this down on a blob. You know, you want to have just a nice little sheen. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Right there, that little sparkly bits that you see, and there, and here, and here, and here. That is this awesome Stickles gel. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to dab it in. There you go. And I can just work right off of my palette knife here and dab that in. And I try to make sure I get the stars, so, you know, a little swipe of it. I don't always use, you know, a tool to put them on. When I want to put this in very specific places, this is just an easy way to do it. You can make it bigger or smaller, depending on what you like. You can add a ton of it wherever you want. I'm going to add a little bit more there. I actually really like the Stickles gel. I try to keep it closer to like the tip of my finger. I actually really like the Stickles gels. We, our group did this as a product spotlight for our creative art challenges, and the running joke was you just put that stuff on everything. All right, I like that it's next to these things here. I'm going to add a little bit more around that balloon, and I'm going to bring that right over the line here to come down to kind of bring this together. So adding it where it's not on the guide, because guess what? You get to do whatever you want. There we go. All right. And I think that's going to do it. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more right here and balance it with a little bit right up here. And there we go. Okay, so how I will store this is I'll scrape off as much as I possibly can. I'm gonna wipe off my finger next. These are my famous cleaning rags. For those of you who don't know, go steal your husband's jogging pants and sweatshirts. They are being sacrificed for a greater good. Wipe off the tip. That goes right in my washer machine. Seal back on as long as you can keep it. Tight store. Ta-da. Okay, so now we're done. This is my first page. I'm going to pick it up, and this is what, just so you can see some of the details. Do you see how those stickles are added? They have those little stars in it, so it works so well with everything there, coming down here and ending here. I think they add a really nice touch, and I happen to really love the Stickles gel. This will be my first page, and in the next video, I'll share with you how I'm going to take this page. We are going to flip it up and then get that additional 16 inches of space to add more to, which is going to allow me to have this moment, the dinner that we went to, and some pictures that I had with friends, all on the same layout. So I hope that you will come back and join me for that. Thank you for stopping by. If you found this video likable, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. It really does help me out here in the YouTube community, and I am ever blessed that you guys choose to do that. Thank you so much and have a great crafty day. Bye-bye.